I don't have to prove myself anymore. And I took on what you just said right now. I said, if I can replicate myself, if I can teach, so and so, and if I can help so and so become a better teacher and become a better educator, then they're going to be able to impact the kids that I never talked to.
Welcome to the Mission Driven Podcast, the show designed to empower, educate, and encourage you to stay focused and committed to your mission. I'm your host, AC Cristales. Let's get ready to roll.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome you back to the Mission Driven Podcast. I'm your host, AC Cristales, and I'm glad that you've decided to join me for another episode. I'm excited about today's episode. I'm sorry that I missed the date. I had made an announcement on social media that the podcast was going to be out Monday, and here I am Monday recording it. So it probably won't be out till tomorrow, Tuesday morning, or if you're up late, it'll probably be up by midnight or maybe 1 a.m. or whatever after I finish mixing it or whatnot. And so it's all good though. It's coming out. So that's the good thing that, I am doing it. Just got caught up this weekend. I had my 20-year class reunion. Can you believe that? Class of 1999. And here we are, 2019, 20 years later. So yeah, that just shows you how old I am, guys. All right. So yeah, 20 years, but it was good. It was good times. It's good seeing people from high school that I haven't seen in a couple of years. So, I mean, it's just amazing how fast time really goes by. So, my word to you with that is just make sure you're enjoying every moment because time goes by fast. So again, I'm excited about today's episode, but that's a given because I'm always excited to record episodes because the podcast is doing what I intended it to do, and that is impact you in a positive way. I'm amazed that people have been tuning into the show, and not just from Texas either, but from all over. The show has been downloaded in France. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. It's been downloaded in France. It's been downloaded in Germany, Sweden, and Turkey. So we're talking international, baby, right? Internacional. And again, I'm super thankful for that. And I'm thankful that you trust me with your time. I know that you're tuning in to get a word that's going to encourage you when you're feeling down, or it's going to motivate you, right, to take action on your dreams. So again, thank you so much for listening. And also, I posted this statement on social media a couple of days ago about people who care about their physical health going to the gym to ensure that their body feels well. So my question to that is, if people do that, right? If people, will take time to go to the gym 3-4 times a week to make sure that their body, is looking good, feeling good, what do people do to ensure that their mind is right and that they're mentally on their game? So I want to ask you that question. What do you do? With so much talk today about mental health, it's important that you take care of your mind, just like you take care of your body. So with that in mind, I want this podcast to be your mental gym. I want this podcast to be your mind right fitness, right? Because again, that's the mission of this podcast, for you to come away a better person, a better leader, a better spouse as a result of you listening to something on this podcast. I want you to not only listen to it, but also reflect on it. And if needed, make some changes that will improve your life. Bottom line, I want you to come out better after listening to my podcast. And so here I am with another episode, believing that you're going to hear something that's going to bring value to your life. So get ready, clear your mind, and ignore the noise. And what I mean by that is ignore the chatter from people who try to discourage you from making improvements in your life. Have you ever noticed that there are people that get more excited when they see you struggling than when they see you winning? But ignore that noise. You take the necessary steps to become a better person because this is your journey. So if it means you do that by listening to my podcast, then do it. If you have to set aside 15 to 20 minutes a day to read something uplifting, then do it. If there is someone on social media who inspires you, then whenever you start feeling discouraged, go back to that person's page and watch their videos, read their posts, and get re-energized. Do whatever is necessary to better your life. Bottom line is this, okay? I really want you to understand this and get this. Bottom line is this. You cannot blame other people's actions, words, or decisions for the way your life is. That's too much power that you're giving to them. But if that's where you find yourself today, I want to tell you, take your power back. Own your life. Know that you have the power within you to create the life that you want. Now, I'm not saying it's easy either, okay? This is not a snap my fingers 2 times and voila, it happens. No, it takes work. It takes being intentional, and it takes knowing that you are responsible for your life. So stop delaying your dreams because people don't support you. Pursue them with all you got anyways and watch doors open for you. Stop waiting for that person to make you happy. Make yourself happy. The responsibility is on you and not on them. We have to take our power back. And I say that because I think we limit ourselves and we limit our beliefs and we make choices based on those limitations. But what if we believe differently? What if our mindset wasn't, I don't know if my life will get better, but what if it was, I will do whatever is necessary to make my life better? See, it's mindset. And so if this is your mental gym, okay, and we all need that, right? We all need a mental gym. We all need somewhere where we can go and renew our minds and strengthen our minds and strengthen the way we think and just change our mindset. Sometimes we need it. I need it daily. I have to get my mind right on a daily basis. And trust me, the days when I don't get my mind right, I feel awful. I'm probably not somebody you want to talk to either, because I'm moody, all right? And I have this stink face on. Yeah, I have this stink face on. Seriously, I told you guys, I'm all about being transparent, all right? I'm all about being real. So bottom line is, I don't want to paint this picture to you like I have everything under control, all right? I'm in the trenches with you. You embrace struggles, I embrace struggles. You endure pain, I endure pain. So we're all in the same boat. It's just a different ocean sometimes. And I think that's what truly connects people. I think if anything, as people listen to this podcast, they realize that me being honest and transparent with you is what really connects you and me. If this is your first time listening, maybe you're like, yo, this guy is, he's being honest and upfront about how he is. He's telling people he's moody and he has a stink face on and that he's not perfect. Yeah, definitely. Because the last thing I want to do is get on this podcast and start telling you that, hey, I got my life all together, so you got to do the same thing. Nah, forget this. We're in the struggle. We're both in the same struggle. And again, I think that's what truly connects people. That ability to be vulnerable with each other by sharing struggles, and by being there for each other through the storms of life. So think about your closest friends. It's not people who you just have small talk with. It's people who you have an emotional attachment with that goes beyond surface. It's the person you can call. You can call and say, hey, I'm going through something right now and I need your help. I need someone to talk to. It's that person, right? That you can text and you can say, hey, I need you. I need you to pray for me. I need something uplifting from you because I'm struggling. So I want to say that because most of the time when we think that, we think the word vulnerability and we think weakness, but vulnerability is not weakness. It's strength. See, there's nothing weak in admitting that you need help. That shows the opposite. That shows that you're courageous and humble enough to admit you can't make it on your own. And there's nothing weak about that. And we have to change that mentality, right? We have to change that mentality that, you know what, if I ask for help, then I'm weak. We got to change that. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's strength. And that's something that I'm big on, just making sure that I teach my daughter, right? So as a father, I'm big on, just making sure that she understands that it's okay to ask for help. All right. It's okay for her to know that if she's going through something, she can talk to me. Now she's 10 years old, right? So we're almost there, right? We're almost, where she's a teenager and adolescence, but it starts now. I don't ever want her to think that she can't talk to me. I don't ever want her to think that, whatever it is that she's feeling, however it is that she's feeling, that she can't share that with me. So I want her to know that I'm there for her. And if something is troubling her, I want her to know that she can come and talk to me or she can go and talk to her mom because I don't ever want her to feel alone. And it's the same thing as an educator. I want my students to know that I'm there for them as well, that I care about them, and that the care goes beyond the four walls of a classroom or school. So whatever I can do to help, I'm going to do it. And again, don't feel that you're being weak by asking for that help. But here's the thing with that. As much as I've wanted to help others and I've offered to help others, it's always on them to make the decisions to actually seek out the help. See, you can't force someone to accept your help. They either want it or they don't. And don't get fooled, all right? Please don't get fooled when they say, hey, I want your help, but they don't take the necessary steps to get it. Because if they really wanted your help, they would take action. Because here's the deal. Here's what I truly, strongly believe. If you really want something, you take action, period. But maybe some people just don't know how to take action. Or maybe some people hold themselves back because of their limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs like, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. It won't ever work. My parents didn't make it, so why would I make it? I'm not leadership material. Limiting beliefs. And you know what limiting beliefs do? They hold you back. They impoverish your life and they limit what you can do. But I have something for you on this podcast. I have something for you on this podcast to encourage you to overcome those limiting beliefs and alter them so that you can start believing differently and as a result, live a life geared for success. But it all starts with your beliefs because it is our beliefs that influence our actions. And so, my reference point for this episode comes from the one, the only, the notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls.
My corner, my layer, while we out here, say the hustler's prayer. If the game shakes me or breaks me, I hope it makes me a better man. Take a better stand, put money in my mom's hand. Get my daughter this college plan, so she don't need no man. Stay far from timid, only make moves when your heart's in it, and live the phrase, sky's the limit.
Now, you know, since I did a Tupac podcast, I had to do a Biggie one too, all right? But this is not going to be like the Pac one. With this one, I'm going to share 7 lessons that I derived, that I got from the Biggie verse that we just heard. But before I get into those lessons, I want to let you know that this isn't the first time I've taught these 7 lessons. This isn't the first time that I've used Biggie to bring some knowledge to empower someone. See, I actually used this Biggie song, Sky's the Limit, when I was an assistant principal. There was this one kid who was always getting into trouble and would be sent to my office, probably at least 3 to 4 times a week. And like I've shared before, I would suspend kids or I would assign them in-school suspension or some form of detention. But that was only a glimpse of what I would do with them. Many teachers didn't know about the conversations that I would have with these students because I knew that in order to really help them out, I had to get to the root cause of why they were making poor decisions. So the suspension got them out of school and made the learning environment easier for my teachers and other students. But at the end of the day, I wanted to know that I was able to help this kid out because poor mistakes or not, that person is a valuable person. And so I wanted the student to know that misbehaviors or poor decisions don't have to define them. Okay, they don't have to define him. And they don't have to define you for life either. Maybe you're feeling right now, you're listening and you're thinking, man, I've made some poor choices these last couple of months. And so, that's going to be my life. No, it doesn't have to be your life. Okay. Because if I was defined for life based on my poor decisions in school, you wouldn't be listening to my voice right now because I did some foolish stuff in school. But I want you to be thankful. Be thankful for the 180s that you can take in life. All right. You can take 180s in life because you can change your attitude. You can change the trajectory of your life. Just because you're going one way right now doesn't mean that you can't take a 180 and turn and go somewhere else. So if that's where you're at right now, you're feeling regret or you're feeling bad because of some poor decisions, and you're in a place where you really don't want to be, guess what? You can change that. You can turn around and change that, and you can start going and heading on a path that's going to take you where you really want to go. And that's what I'm big on stressing. I'm big on stressing that to my audiences when I speak, that we can change for the better. I mean, that's the one thing we have, that we have the power and the ability to choose to make decisions and choices for our lives that will better our lives. I'm big on that. Because one thing that's constant in life is change. And you're either changing for the better or you're changing for the worse. But know that every day we have the ability to make changes in our life. Okay, you have to know that. And every day, those choices that we make can help us be better. But back to my story. All right, so I have this kid, this frequent flyer, who had a dictionary on my bookshelf with his name on it because he knew that whenever he came to Mr. Cristales, if he wasn't learning from Miss Tyler, he was going to learn from Webster's. All right. Oh, yeah. Webster's dictionary has over 400,000 words that he was going to learn from because he was going to learn something that day. And it came to a point, right? It came to a particular day when I was like, look, I have to do something different with him. And I thought that to myself. I was like, I have to do something different with him. I was tired of seeing him come to my office and it seemed like, the suspensions weren't working. The in-school suspension wasn't working. The phone calls to the mom wasn't working. And so what I decided to do, I was like, you know what? I just got to do something different. So I decided to print out that section of lyrics that you just heard on this podcast. I printed out those lyrics and I was just going to sit with him and just talk with him about what those words meant to him and what those words meant to me. And I have to tell you, he was surprised. Number one, he probably thought I didn't know Biggie. He just probably nah, this guy right here don't know Biggie, but I know Biggie, baby. I even told him yo, I used to throw my hands in the air because I was a true player. All right, so come on, I know Biggie. All right. But I'll tell you what, that student that day looked at me differently. After that day, I mean, our relationship went to a whole nother level because I took the time to talk to him. I took the time to share with him what those lyrics meant to each other. Now, I'm not going to lie and tell you that he turned it around the next day, but he did know this. He did know that Mr. Gustalis does care about me. Mr. Gustalis cares about me enough to take time out of his day, not just to suspend me, but to talk to me and share with me his struggles. Because again, what connects people is vulnerability. And vulnerability, again, is not weakness, it's strength. But I want to make this clear to you, okay? Before you go out there and just start being vulnerable with everybody, don't do that, all right? I'm not, please, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you that there are people who truly want to help you, and it's okay to be vulnerable with them. So I want to make this clear. Make sure you're vulnerable, but make sure you're vulnerable with people who truly have your best interests in mind, all right? So now let's get to the lessons. We just heard this Biggie verse, which is, I think, one of my favorite Biggie verses of all time. But he's really dropping some knowledge. He's really dropping to what I believe 7 lessons that can help you, all right? Help you on your journey, help you with your limiting beliefs, help you see things differently, okay? So lesson number one is this. Know that the game can shake you or break you. Now, what Biggie raps is that if the game shakes me or breaks me, all right? So number one, know that the game can shake you or break you. Now, what I'm referring to as the game is life. We are all players in the game of life. And life is similar to all the games that we enjoy playing, right? Because look, life, games, there are rules. There are winners, there are losers, there are challenges, and there's an ending. Life, like any game that is played, does not go on forever. So the question then is, how do you play this game? How do you play this game? All right? Are you simply a spectator in the game? You know, you're just kind of just sitting out there in the bleachers wishing you can get into the action, but you don't because you lack the courage and confidence to do so? Or are you a player? Do you get on the field and though you take some lumps and you experience some falls, you know that life, like a game, is better enjoyed when you're actually taking part in it? And that's the thing about actually being a player in the game of life. See, there are no guarantees, all right? I mean, if you're going out there and getting on the field, you have to understand that there aren't any guarantees. Yeah, there are rules to the game, but there are still unknowns. There are still unknowns that happen in life. Just like in any sport, any game, accidents and injuries happen. Regardless, though, you still have to make that decision. Am I going to be a player or am I going to be a spectator in this game of life? And let me make this clear. There's no joy in being a spectator, all right? There's nothing fun about sitting in the stands wishing you could be out there on the field. And there's no glory for the man or the woman who has the talent to do great things, but never does because they're held back by their fears. And that's why pursuing goals and chasing after dreams is not easy. If you think it's easy, you already lost. Because this life will shake you or break you. And that's something that you have to understand. So yeah, you can live with limited beliefs thinking that you can't do it, because if you think like that, well, yeah, you won't be able to do it. Because the reality is that life will bring things to you that will shake you or break you. Yeah, life will humble you. Just when you think you have it all figured out, you realize you really don't. Just when you think you've mastered life and you have all the answers, something happens that changes the questions. Life will shake you or break you, but it doesn't have to keep you down. See, I believe this. You can come back from anything that life throws your way. The only thing that you can't come back from is death. So play the game. Don't just sit out in the bleachers because you're afraid you may fail. Let me make something clear to you. You are going to fail. But failures don't have to mark you as a failure for life. So yeah, you failed, get back up, try again. You stumbled, get back up, try again. Your heart got broken, get back up and love again. Your life was in shambles, get back up and live again. Look, I love this Italian proverb, and this Italian proverb says this: at the end of the game, the king and pawn go back into the same box. And how I interpret that is this: when our time on earth is up, we are all placed in the same type of box, a casket. But I don't know about you, but when I die, I want to know that I died giving it my all. I don't want to die with regrets, all right? I don't want to die thinking, man, what could have been, all right? I don't want to die with the 2 saddest words in the English dictionary, all right? I don't want to die with those 2 words, what if? I don't want to die with those, all right? So life may break me a couple of times, and life has broken me a couple of times, but I want to know that when it's all said and done, I live fully. That I was a player and not just a spectator, because at the end of the day, when the game is over, both player and spectators go into the box. But I want to die knowing, I want my legacy to be, hey, man, that guy, he played. That guy was out in the arena. All right, so again, number one. All right, lesson number one from that Biggie verse. Know that this life, yeah, it can break you. All right, it can shake you or break you. But number two, you have to also know this, that whatever life throws your way, just make sure you get better as a result of it. I've always said that if we go through a situation and we don't learn anything from it, then we went through the situation in vain. And what I mean by that is this: if you experience something that affects you in a major way, but you fail to make changes, and so you continue falling into the same rut, then you really haven't learned anything. And that experience was useless to your growth. See, everything that you experience in your life, whether good or bad, painful or enjoyable, should make you better. I like when Biggie rapped, "If the game shakes me or breaks me, I hope it makes me a better man." Because I know that sometimes we expect for just the good things in life to make us better. But sometimes it's those no's in life that make you better, right? It's you not getting the job that you wanted that makes you a stronger person. It's you opening a business and that business flopping that makes you a stronger person. It's you receiving that letter of rejection that makes you more resilient. Sometimes it's the no's, sometimes it's the bad things in life that make you better. Sometimes it is those bad things that can make you better when you realize that you grow more from struggling than you do from succeeding. I mean, if you always succeeded, you wouldn't know how much pain you could really take or how much strength you really have to endure the things you didn't know you could endure, but you're only able to learn that through challenging times. So whatever life throws your way, ask yourself, is this going to make me better? And if it's not, you don't need it. Your life is too valuable to waste time on nonsense that doesn't make you better. And if it is something unexpected that came to you and it's outside of your control, then ask yourself this: how can I grow and become better as a result of this experience? God knows I didn't choose it. God knows I didn't want this. And I know that it's just a pain. It's just a reality of life. But regardless, how can I use this situation to make me better? Because that's the goal every day. How can I get better? Number three, live for something that's greater than you. So again, let's go back to the Biggie verse. If the game shakes me or breaks me, I hope it makes me a better man. Take a better stand. And that's what I mean by that. Take a better stand. Live for something that's greater than you. Again, I think society incorrectly defines success. Success isn't just about how much money you have. Success isn't about what you drive or where you went on vacation to. Success is, look at what I overcame to get where I am now. Okay, let me repeat that again. Success is, look at what I overcame. Know what I overcame to get where I am now. And success is also, how can I help others as a result of where I am now? Because success can't be just about you. And not when there are people hurting in the world. And you know what? Forget the world, okay? That's a macro view. We know that. We know that there are a lot of people hurting in the world. But I'm talking about the people in your family that could use your help. I'm talking about the people in your neighborhood that could use your help, that you know you can bless, that you know you're able to provide some assistance for. And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture either. And it doesn't have to be posted all over social media either. Because, again, success isn't just about you, and it can't be just about you. True success is knowing that someone's life was made better as a result of you being there for them. So when you live for something greater than you, you realize you can't quit because people depend on you. So whether you feel like it or not, because you're going to have moments and days like that when you feel like it, and moments when you don't feel like it, but you're going to do what you have to do because life is bigger than you. See, there have been moments where I've wanted to quit. You know, even as a father, I'll have to be honest with you guys, and you guys know how much I talk about Isabella, but there have been moments where, like, man, like, am I really doing a good job? Where I question myself, I question my ability as a father. I'm like, man, am I really, doing good? Am I really, being the best father that I can be to her? And it's in those times where, I'm like, maybe I'm not a good father and I want to quit. And that sounds crazy, right? Because if you've listened to my podcast for the past, 8 episodes since the beginning, like, yo, this guy loves his daughter, and I do. But there have been times where I'm like, man, am I doing a good job? Am I being a good father? And a part of me, would be like, nah, you're not. And that's the lie, right? That's the lie. That's the limiting belief that says, no, you're not. And that's why I'm saying when I live for something that's greater than me, I realize that, okay, I may not feel like I am, but I can't quit because my daughter needs me. Isabella needs me. So why would I be selfish and give up when I know that she needs her father? And there have been times where I've wanted to quit speaking. When I thought, man, maybe I'm just not good enough, you know? But it's in those moments, right? In those moments when I feel like that. And again, I'm being transparent and honest and real with you guys, but it's in those moments when I remember specific incidents, specific experiences that have confirmed that, man, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right spot. And it may not be happening the way I want it to be, but man, when I give it all I have, and when I speak from my heart, and when I share the message that I know that God has placed in me and it touches people's lives, it lets me know I'm in the right spot. Like I won't forget, last year I spoke at El Paso. I spoke at a high school in El Paso, Texas, Socorro High School. And after I finished speaking, a 17-year-old girl came to me and she told me with tears in her eyes how my story gave her hope. See, you have to understand, this was a girl who was crying to me and telling me that her family had abandoned her, didn't want anything to do with her because she had gotten pregnant. And so she felt worthless. She felt like her life didn't have any meaning anymore. She felt like she couldn't go on. But there was something in what I shared that gave her back that hope. So how can I give up, man? Yeah, things are tough, but I'm living for something that's bigger than me. See, if it was all about me, yeah, for sure, I'd give up. If it was all about me, then yeah, the moment things got tough, all right, I'm out, peace, bounce, out. But I'm not. I'm living for those hearts and those souls that need to hear my message. So I can't give up, and you can't give up either. Not when you're living for something that's greater than you. And I don't know what that is. For some of you, you're a parent, right? You're a parent, you got kids, and your kids are dependent on you, and so you can't give up. For others, it's at your job, as much as you want to quit and as much as you may not like your job sometimes, but there's somebody in that office that needs you there. That you're the only light that they see in their world of darkness. You got to understand that when it's bigger than you, you can endure anything. So again, number 3, live for something that's greater than you. Number 4, I think you'll like this one. Number 4 is remember your goals. All right. So again, let's go back to Biggie's verse. All right. So Biggie said, if the game shakes me or breaks me, I hope it makes me a better man. Take a better stand. And here are his goals right here. Put money in my mom's hand. Give my daughter this college plan so she don't need no man. And yo, those goals sound similar to mine. In fact, I was rapping that part to Isabella this past week. I was like, yeah, put money in my mom's hand. Give my daughter this college plan so she don't need no man, right? I was telling her that. She kind of just like looked at me a little weird and stuff, She really didn't pay me no mind because she was busy playing Roblox and stuff. But man, that's my goal, I mean, it's always been my goal ever since, I made a decision that I wanted to be somebody in this life, when I was 13 years old. And I made a decision that I was going to make it, and whatever made it at that point thought I was going to be some big rapper. But I always knew that I wanted to help my mom. I always knew that I wanted to give back to her, because she gave so much to me. And, now as a father, yeah, for sure, I want to give my daughter this college plan because she don't need no man. Let me say that again. She don't need no man, all right? And so she's going to have this college plan, because you guys know that's what I'm driven by. My mission is to be the best father that I can be for Isabella. And so, yeah, I want to raise an independent daughter who knows she doesn't need a man, besides her dad, to chase after her dreams. But for you, remember your goals. I think sometimes that's why we limit ourselves, because we forget our goals, right? We lose sight of what we're going after. So I want to let you know that let your goals ignite you. Let your goals ignite that fire in you, that whenever you feel like giving up, you remember your goals and you continue your pursuit. That whenever you fall off track a bit, because again, there are going to be some moments when you fall off track, you're reminded of your goal and you get back on track. Remember your goals, because it's your goals that should remind you of where you want to go. It's your goals that should remind you what you're fighting for. And it's your goals that give you back your focus. And if you focus on your goals, then guess what? That's going to make them a reality. So don't lose sight. You want to lose weight, focus on your goals and go and do it. You want to write a book, focus and get to write it and do it. Remember your goals. Number 5, act in spite of fear. We all have two choices when it comes to facing our fears. We are either held back by our fears or we act in spite of fears. Some of you are waiting for fear to disappear before you act. Well, let me tell you, when going after big dreams, you're going to encounter fear. You're going to be scared. And if you're not scared, then maybe your dream really isn't a big one. Because see, dreaming big means you're chasing after things that will stretch you, that will try you, and that will push you to things you probably didn't think you could do. So yeah, you will have fear. But like Biggie said, stay far from timid. Stay far from being fearful and apprehensive. That doesn't mean that fear doesn't exist. That doesn't mean that you're not afraid and those feelings of being afraid aren't there. They are there, but it just means that you will still act in spite of those feelings. You're going to go far away from them. You know that they're there, but you're moving far away from them because let me tell you something. Timid people believe nothing is possible because all they see is what won't work. And you know what? If that is your focus, that nothing is possible, that nothing will work out for you, that your life is destined to stay the way it is, then guess what? You will create that reality because this world does not favor the timid. This world favors the bold. This world favors the man or woman who acts in spite of fear. Number 6, make sure your heart is in it. Don't ever pursue something that your heart's not into. That's how you get into trouble. And that's how you live a miserable life. So just because everyone else wants to be a photographer, if you're not really into photography, then don't pursue it. And don't we see a lot of that today? Just seriously, just go on social media and, oh, what's popular now? What's everybody doing now? Oh, so-and-so is doing real estate. So, man, maybe I should do real estate. But if you really don't have a passion for it, don't waste your time. Don't do it. Don't try to live other people's passion because someone else's passion will never make you happy. Your heart has to be on whatever you choose to do because if it's not, you're going to be miserable. So I want you to think about what makes you feel alive. What could you do for hours and hours, regardless of the politics and the messiness? Because let me be honest with you, there are pros and cons to every single job. Every single career has pros and cons. So what could you do for hours and hours, regardless of the politics, regardless of the messiness, and still be happy? Make sure your heart's in it. Also goes for relationships too. Some of you are holding on to someone not because you love them, but because you think there's no one better out there for you. And you know this person is not right for you, but because you believe, well, there's no one out there for me, no one else out there for me, you stay with that person. And not only is this a limiting belief, it's also a damaging one. And it damages you because anytime your heart is not into someone, you're not being true to yourself and you're losing time. And you only have one life, baby. There's only one life that we have. So ask yourself, is the risk of time passing me by worth me being in a relationship that my heart really isn't into? So whether it's your career, whether it's a relationship, whether it's education, whatever it is that you pursue, I want you to pursue it with passion or don't pursue it at all. Number 7, live the phrase, sky's the limit. Biggie's last line, which ties to the title of his song, sky's the limit. Live the phrase, sky's the limit. What phrase are you living by on a daily basis? What mental thought guides your life? Again, if your focus is on what can't be, you will create that reality. A majority of the time, life will give you what you focus on. So you can't expect success when all you think about are your shortcomings. You can't expect victory when your mind is still on the loss that you experienced years ago. Do you understand that? Do you understand that people cannot receive what life has for them today because they are still stuck living in yesterday? It's impossible for life to give you something new and beautiful when you continue to hold on to something dead and old. So if it's dead, you have to bury it. And if it's old, don't allow it to control your present. So again, what phrase are you living by? If it's sky's the limit, then you realize that the only limits you have are the limitations you place on yourself. So that means it doesn't matter what your mom says you can or cannot do. It doesn't matter what your ex says you're capable or not capable of doing. Their limitations don't have to limit you. But the limitations that you place on yourself will always hold you back from being all you were destined to be. Now, I haven't really talked much about Biggie, but I'm going to end this podcast talking a little bit about him. If you don't know much about Biggie Smalls, let me just tell you just a little bit about him. He was a young African-American man who grew up without a father. So off the bat, he already has, he's already, has a challenge already, just, being raised without a father. And so he was raised by a single mom in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn. And there it is. There's another challenge, being raised in a, low socioeconomic environment. And so he dropped out of high school and he started selling drugs. But here's the thing about Biggie. He had a talent. He could rap. In fact, many say that Big was the best lyricist of all time. And I love Big. And so I definitely give him props for that. I think he really is super talented when it comes to his lyrical talent. And for me, this song, Sky's the Limit, showed his beliefs, because art is an expression of the soul, okay? So whatever you put out, all right, whatever you put out artistically, that's what's in your soul. And Biggie made it to the top of the music industry. And he was able to accomplish the goals he talked about. He was able to buy his mom whatever she wanted. He was able to provide for his daughter. And I think it happened. I think he focused on, hey, I'm living for something bigger than me. I'm living for my family. I'm going to help him out. And so he did it. And he did it because he lived the phrase, sky's the limit. He believed he could. And yeah, he had this gift of rapping, but more than that, he had the right beliefs to go with it. See, some of you have gifts and talents, but you don't believe in yourself. Let me say that again. Some of you have gifts, you have talents, there's things that you want to do, but you don't believe in yourself enough to pursue them. You don't really believe that you could get that promotion. You don't really believe that you can earn that bachelor's degree. You don't really believe that you can be a good mom or a good husband. And guess what? It is those beliefs that are creating your reality, and they're limiting you. But I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to think how your life could be different if you believed in yourself. And you believe that regardless of the shakes and breaks of life, I'm going to get better. I want to challenge you to believe that you can live for something greater than you, and that you will hold on to your goals, because they will keep you going, even in the moments when you feel you can't. And even in the moments when you're confronted by fear, I want to challenge you to take action anyways, because what you're pursuing is something your heart really aches after and is really passionate about. And I want to challenge you to live the phrase, sky's the limit, because you can reach your goals and you can achieve your dreams. And it's all up to you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope there's something within this episode that encouraged your life to take it to another level. Again, I want you to live the phrase, sky's the limit, because again, the only limitations that can hold you back are the limitations that you set on yourself. So guys, I want you to do me this favor. If there is something that you listened to in this podcast that helped your life, blessed your life, encouraged your life, then please do me this favor of posting it on your social media accounts, and you can tag me on there as well. Okay, I'm at AC Cristales. Again, I'm at AC Cristales on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All right, so you can find me there. My daughter even encouraged me to get a TikTok, so I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use that. But again, if there's anything on there on this podcast that you listen to that just blessed your life, please share it on social media, and also share this podcast with your friends and your family. And also, don't forget to subscribe, all right? If you listen on iTunes, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you rate and review it. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow me so you know when the latest episode comes out. Until next time, guys, remember, the mission continues, so remain mission-driven. Faith, hope, love.